So we heard a lot of solutions this morning and this afternoon, and many of the financing solutions are also looking really for nature-based solutions. So now we want to also act and not just listen, and I hope we can still engage you in this afternoon's workshop. What we want to do is really identify a pipeline of innovative nature-based solutions, be it in the area of sustainable management of forest, nature as infrastructure, regenerative agriculture, or also financing on how to finance them. So we really want now to use this time to discuss with you, actually in four different stations, how could we do that, or what could be our vision for 2030, and how can we get to that vision by 2030. What we really want to have at the end of this day, we want to have a set of maybe commitments or actions that we can take forward, and at the next Innovate for Nature Forum, we can present progress. Okay, so I'll quickly explain how this afternoon workshops will work, and this will work here in Lausanne itself, but it will work also online for those participants who are still there. So the online participants are asked to now go onto Zoom, either by clicking on the QR code, that's just for the online participants, or to click on this link, and then you will be afterwards also discussing in groups. If we go to the next slide, I'll quickly explain how this will work. So what we're doing, we're trying to use the methodology of open space, which is, the rule is actually, so we will have 4 stations here in the back, and these 4 stations are clustered around the ideas of nature as infrastructure, sustainable management of forests, regenerative agriculture, but also financing nature-based solutions. So you will have, at each stand, there will be a moderator or an initiator, and some of you will be bumblebees, others will be butterflies, others will be more listeners. And what this means is actually, contribute as much as you can, for example, on the discussion on nature as infrastructure. If you then feel, well, I've contributed everything I could, you can move to the next station and you can go, for example, how to finance nature-based solutions. So this is really based on the principles. It used to be called the law of 2 feet. Now, to be ethically or correct, it's called now the law of mobility. And it really begins when it begins. Whoever comes is the right person to come, and it ends when it ends. The topics I mentioned already will be the 4 topics that we discussed today. So what we will be discussing in this workshop is actually shown on the next slide. So what we want to do in the first, I think it's about 20 minutes, is let's think about what headlines will we read about nature-based solutions in the Financial Times in 2030. Some were coming to me and said, well, maybe it is, we are really in a bad situation and we have to do something. Can be the headline, but it could be also the headline that we have identified, 1,000 nature-based solutions, and we now have solutions really on reforestations and whatever. So, the limit, there is no limit. Any idea that you have what we should read in the Financial Times in 2030 will be the right thing. We will then try to prioritize a little bit, and for the prioritized topics or the prioritized ideas, we really want to think about, backcasting from the future. How can the different projects or stakeholders that are in the room now today, or that are still with us online, how can we contribute together to reaching these headlines, to reaching these visions? What can we do together? Or maybe how can an individual project or an individual company like Signum contribute to it? And then think about who else needs to be involved, apart from the people here in the room or the ones online. And how do we get from today to 2030? We really want to build an action plan. We really want to mobilize something together with all of you. So that's the idea of this afternoon workshop. It will last about an hour. If you need a little bit more time, you can go into the coffee break. We will be just back here in the plenary around 4 o'clock, where we will ask each station to quickly tell us what was the headline and how do you want to get there. So it will be short pitches, and then we have a final panel discussion where we will have Anna Peters from Migros, Till Berger also from the Federal Office of Spatial Development. I always have to think how it is said in English. Gerard will be there, and the solution providers as well as myself. Okay, so enjoy the discussion, and I look forward to hearing what the results will be. If there are questions at each stand, there will be a moderator, a facilitator to help you guide through the process. Enjoy.